Hi everyone, it's Justine. You voted for it. Now here it is. Today's video is dedicated to eyebrows. First, what's the perfect eyebrow shape, the ideal proportion? Then how to adapt these perfect proportions to your face shape. And that's actually the most important part in my opinion. And then we'll talk about finding your own aesthetics and about grooming. I'm using the 7 face shapes that I've already explained in a previous video. If you've missed that one, it is linked in the top right corner of your screen, as well as down below in the video description. For this video though, I will assume that you already know what your face shape is, so I'm jumping right into it. First, the ideal eyebrow shape. Supposedly, you get the perfect harmony visually in terms of proportions if you use the golden ratio. The Egyptian pyramids, for instance, are built pretty much along this magic number. The Parthenon in Greece as well. The human face also follows this ratio, more or less. And the eyebrows. Concretely, it means that you're building the shape of your eyebrows based on 3 lines. The first one is vertical, from your nostril up. So this is the line where your eyebrow should start. The second line goes from the tip of the nose to the iris of the eye. The arch of your eyebrow should be the highest where it crosses this line. You'll see in a minute. And on the other side of this line, the eyebrow starts to go downwards again. The third line goes from the corner of your nose to the outer corner of the eye. So when it reaches that line, the eyebrow, technically, should end. So in theory, if you really follow these 3 guidelines, you get the perfect, most aesthetically pleasing eyebrow possible. On me, the perfect eyebrow looks something like this. A bit of Photoshop. Voila. See how we're using the 3 lines as our guides? Notice that if you follow the golden ratio, the highest point of your eyebrow is not in its middle. It's clearly further away from the nose. There is a makeup company in the US. They developed a toolkit for makeup artists to be able to draw eyebrows exactly based on this golden ratio. They even got it patented, the tool. Very smart. However, so far, we haven't taken into account the actual shape of the face of the person. The only thing we considered was the size of the eye, because we needed the angle to be right for the 3rd guideline, but that was it. So let's adapt this rule according to your face shape. When you see a celebrity with eyebrows that are not following the rule, the golden ratio, it's no coincidence. The makeup artist has consciously changed the proportions in order to flatter the face of that person, and each face is different. I will keep the so-called perfect proportions that I mentioned earlier as a benchmark here in red, and I will show you how to deviate from that benchmark based on the effects and the proportions that you want to achieve. On an oval face, you can go with the golden ratio because technically your face already has harmonious proportions. Thin or thick, whichever you prefer, here you can choose. I would make the brow end where our 3rd guideline says it should, and I would probably keep its natural color. A long face is an elongated oval face. I would shorten the oval by drawing an eyebrow which is less arched, almost flat. I'd make it thick to make that horizontal line more visible. And I would pull the eyebrows towards the ears to make that horizontal line seem longer. See how the face overall looks shorter now. I have an oval/long shape, and this is exactly what I do on my own brows. If you ever thought, it seems like her face is getting fuller, a bit wider than what it was 2 years ago. My face shape actually hasn't changed much. The way I do my brows has. Now I draw them a bit longer on the sides, and it's really changing the overall impression, isn't it? If you have a round face, I would try to elongate it by drawing brows that are very arched, narrower, shorter than the perfect proportions, starting at the same place next to the nose, but shortening the other end. It creates an angle, which is contrasting nicely with the circle of your face. On a square face, we want to balance out a strong jawline by attracting the attention towards the upper part of the face. I would make the brows wider, so it's the opposite of a round face actually, and I would make them thick. You can choose between a rounded arched or even an angle, if you like that. I think I wouldn't go with the flat brow shape though. Square faces, I think, can really get away with super thick brows, which are totally on trend at the moment. Think Cara Delevingne. She has an angular jawline as well. She's a good reference for you if you're looking for an example and you have a square face. If your face is heart-shaped, your forehead is your widest point. I would make the brow curved upwards and then downwards, if that makes sense, with the highest point quite far away from the nose. If your face is pear-shaped, it's the opposite of the heart, your widest point is the jawline. So I would make thick brows like on a square face, but this time I want their overall shape to go up. This brings balance. On a diamond face, the widest point in your face is exactly at the level of your eyes. So rather than adding brow volume like on a square face, I would keep the eyebrows thin throughout. Or, option 2, I would make them become thinner on the outside, like I drew here, away from the nose. All these suggestions for each face shape are strictly mine. You're completely free to disagree and to choose to go with a completely different option and shape. Which brings me to my next point. Finding your own aesthetics. There are a few things to consider, and I want to share that with you because I think it's super important. First, what is the natural shape of your eyebrows? If I look at myself in the mirror, I would not shave off everything and then draw a new, completely artificial and totally different shape. I'd rather build up on what I have because at the end I'd still want it to look like me, you know? Second thing, you can always choose to either balance out your features or accentuate them. For instance, if you're a circle, a round shape, and you love that, you don't need to break the circle and have pointy eyebrows. Your brows, your decision, obviously. Next point. Culture has a huge influence on what is considered pretty as well, especially when it's about cosmetics and about beauty and makeup. If you take a Korean beauty makeup tutorial on YouTube, very trending at the moment, you will see that they often draw the brows or highlight the brows in a flat shape that goes up towards the outside. It's cultural, it's totally fine. In fact, if you're looking for different sources of inspiration, look beyond your own country and continent for other ones and you will see a lot more variety. Time is another factor. Look at fashion magazines and beauty magazines from the 1920s, American or French Vogue, for instance. I have that very clearly in my mind right now. The eyebrows were so thin. If you saw that today on the street, you'd think, tweezers gone mad. Hello? What were you thinking? Eyebrows are very, very much subject to trends, and trends keep changing. So I would stay away from permanent hair removal measures in this area. You won't like what you like today in 10 or 20 years. It's pretty sure. And hairs in this area are very sensitive. If you mistreat your eyebrows too much, the hairs will not grow back. So careful. Basically, when doing your brows and experimenting with what you want your aesthetics to be, you can play on 4 parameters: length, thickness, arch, and its shape. We've explained that earlier. And color. This we have not mentioned earlier. So here it goes. For the color, you know, if you're trying to use your eyebrows to balance out your facial features, you will want these brows to be very visible. So I would go with this shade or 2 darker than my hair color. And then you start there and then you see if you go even darker or maybe a bit less, you will see what you feel comfortable with. On the other side of the spectrum, if you want your eyebrows to be more discreet, less visible, I would go with 1 or 2 shades lighter than my hair color. I will link in the description box under this video eyebrow products that I have personally used and liked. If you don't know where to start, you might find this list useful. I will also add names of celebrities as examples for each face shape if you're looking for references. If you enjoyed this video, thumbs up. Thank you very, very much. And please let me know. Do you do anything to your brows? What does your eyebrow routine look like? Do you make up? Do you groom? Grooming tips and tricks, I'd love that. Please share. If you want more to watch on this topic of proportions, which I think is essential in an outfit and in a face, I have a previous video about finding the right glasses based on your face shape. And I have another one about earrings, because you know earrings are so close to your face. Logically, proportions will matter there as well. I will link both videos here in the corner and down below in the description if you want to have a look. One more thing that I need to tell you. It's not fashion related, bear with me, it's YouTube related. I didn't know, and I don't think you know, and I don't think anyone knew, so it's worth sharing, I guess. You'll tell me. I always thought that when you subscribe to this channel, you would get some notifications, and that if on top of that you clicked on the bell, then you would get all notifications for every one of my new videos. I learned that it's not true. And the truth is, if you click subscribe, you get 0 notifications. 0, not 1, unless you also click on the bell. So actually now you have to click twice to get any news. So if you subscribe and click on the bell, I will see you Sunday in a new video. Until then, take care. Bye.